Hello, everybody. I've never taught in a school. I teach at university.
You know what?
Oh, shit, yes. Right, can we begin? Sorry, we're late, and I apologise that you've been kept waiting. We're late because you've got here some of the most extraordinary things that have ever been found in England. You may have seen it. This is the hoard of Anglo-Saxon jewellery that was found in Staffordshire, here right in the middle of England, just outside Lichfield, just off the A5, a couple of years ago, by a metal detectorist wandering around in a field, waving a metal detector. And he came up with a fragment of this, and they finally found 1,500 pieces of Anglo-Saxon gold. You were all here, I'm told, because you failed. That's to say, no, you didn't get the Magic 5 GCSEs, okay? Right, the Magic 5. Now, what seems to me to be important is that you remember why you're here and why schooling exists and why human beings go to school. You've got a mind. You've got a brain. It's the most important thing about you. What you should be using your brains to do is two things. One of them is to master the world. If you do not use your brains, you will be at the bottom of the social pile. You will never go anywhere. And once you get outside the classroom, where people are nice and gentle to you, you will be told what to do, right? What we're trying to get you to do is to take control of yourselves and to take control of your lives, right? That is what learning is about. And it's very simple. Why do we bother studying history at all? Jake, where are you?
To see what happened in the past.
Yeah, why does that matter?
Huh?
Why does what happened in the past matter?
Because it has an effect on our life today.
Yes, it does. I mean, how old are you?
16.
Right. You have lived for 16 years. What percentage is that of the last 1,000 years? 1.6, right. In other words, what is your experience against all those earlier human generations? To get good jobs is going to be harder and harder and harder. And the basic rule of a good job is where you tell other people what to do rather than other people telling you what to do, where you're in charge. And what I want to do with you, for me, right, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in a council house. My mother scrubbed floors, and my father was a turner. That's to say, he manufactured parts of commercial washing machines, right? He was out of work for 7 years before the marriage. He walked twice to London in search of work. Now, we've forgotten those days. There was no full dome. To save, when he had a problem with his teeth, to save the equivalent of 12.5 pence, he had his teeth, which was the cost of an anaesthetic. He had his teeth removed, all of them, without anaesthetic. Right? Now, that is not all that long ago, which changes. But for me, education was the way out of that experience for my father and my mother. I wanted to get out. I lived in a boring little northern town, right? But the one magic was the school hall. And there were honours boards of people who got out. And I spent my time in school looking at those and thinking how I could get out. No?
How did you get out then?
By doing very well at school.
Did you do well?
But not everybody's a school person.
No, that is also true. There are people like Jamie. But on the whole, it's easier if you make the effort, right? This is the easy path, right? School is the easy path. School is the easy way forward, okay?
Yeah, for some people it is. Like some people that are actually good at doing like work and that other people can't.
Are good with their hands, other people will
That's
be good.
the thing, like we have our exams and stuff and that's all on the written stuff.
I agree.
We get the opportunity to show what we can actually do.
I agree. No, I think, sorry, I am not, just one second, I'm not defending the existing system. What I'm trying to say is, for one moment now, trust me, you don't know me, why should you? But trust me, and let's see between us if we can't find something that's interesting and exciting You may not. You know, you may want to do science. You may want to do Jamie's cooking. You may want to do Simon's acting. That's up to you. But let's all trust. Let's all see where we might actually go. Okay. This is originally hunting dress. It's rough external wear. If you look at what an 18th century gentleman is wearing, it's silks and satins. You can't actually go out in it. And this marks one of the great changes in human behaviour when dress changes to something that's practical, that you can move in, and that it also becomes, interestingly, business attire. When you were talking about job interviews, right? What you have to wear, the so-called smart thing. Again, it comes in at a particular moment of time. But history is about that accumulated experience. Every single thing you're going to study, cooking, theatre, science, Latin, it's all history. Thou is just addressing one person. So normally, if in the 16th century, right, if I'd been talking to all of you, I'd have said all of you. If I'd addressed myself to you, I would have said thou. Thou must, thou must learn, thou tiresome girl, or whatever, or, thou art beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks.
Well, it's true. It's true. Come on, we've all got to recognise each other's talents. So all language, everything we think, is from the past. What I'd just like to try to do is to see if we can get into that, right? And what we've done is to take the very beginnings of the world then, our world. Once upon a time, everybody here spoke Latin. What does the word Britain come from?
Britannia.
Sorry? Britannia, great. It comes from the Latin. It's the Latin word for these, in fact, it's Greek originally, but it's the Latin word for these islands. And originally, Britannia, and originally, all of this, Spain, France, Italy, Switzerland, most of Germany, the Netherlands, the whole of this area here of the Balkans, Greece, right round into Asia, and the whole of the Mediterranean basin, all of this was a single empire ruled from where?
Britain.
No.
Britannia.
No. Ruled from... Latin is the language of which civilization? Rome. It's Roman. So it's ruled from Rome. And Britain is conquered by the Romans. It's one of the last bits of this great empire to be conquered by the Romans. And the Roman Empire lasts for about 400 years, twice as long as the British Empire in the West.
How did the Roman Empire fall?
How did it fall? It fell because people who were better fighters came over from here, from Germany and from
Germans.
Right, the Germans are very good fighters, as we nearly found out in the last war. What happened was the Romans became very comfortable. We've talked about rap. We've talked about gangster bling. Listen to the actual language.
Can't you turn it up a bit?
Okay, turn it up a bit. Okay? Right. Great. Now, can we just hear... Does anybody know that one? Could anybody recite any of the words?
Yeah.
Right.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from the gang called Niggas with an Attitude. When I'm called off, I got sawed off.
Squeeze the trigger and the bodies are hauled off. You two, boy, if you fuck with me...
Oh, yo, fuck with me. Police are going to have to come and get me.
So what is this music? What is this rap glorifying?
Violent.
Always by men. We heard the rap. We've seen the jewellery, which is so similar to this stuff. Let's listen to what a king actually says at the time that we're looking at here. And it is, in fact, identical to the rap. This is a king of Norway boasting of the number of people that he's killed. Now, I have caused the deaths of 13 of my enemies. I kill without compunction, and I remember all my killings. Do you see what I mean? Most people now regard it as bad. This is what the lines on the cross say. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered, let them that hate him flee before him. It's a war verse from the Old Testament. The values of the Old Testament are these warrior values. They are the values of violence, they're the values of territory, they're the values of a God who says, you are my chosen people and I will fight for you. And something very, very different happens with the world of the New Testament. It's completely different. And what we'll do next week is to try to look at that revolution in values, how it changes, why it changes, and why, even though you don't know it, you have these ideas inside you.